Alright, hey everybody, it's Rob here. I want to make a quick video here about all the new powers that we will have in Season 2, which is starting on the 17th of October. And we got quite a lot of powers and some basic mechanics here, and what they mean basically for new builds that we're gonna see in the Season 2 or existing builds that are already the case. I compiled a full sheet here that I'm gonna link in the description as well. Going over all the details and outlining like possible use cases, builds that benefit, and also things to test once the patch and the season goes live. So in general, we have the season theme, which is we get vampiric powers. And there's going to be like 5 pact slots on 5 of our armor pieces for a total of 25 pacts. And we can use those pacts to get the vampiric powers. Thank you for the support. We can get minor and major powers, and minor cost 1 to 3 pacts, and major cost 6 pacts. So most builds will end up actually having 3 to 4 major and 1 to 2 minor powers. And there's a new Vampiric curse mechanic, which is basically killing an enemy afflicted by your Vampiric curses stores their soul, casting a defensive skill like, for example, Challenging Shout. A Macabre or Agility skill will unleash the stored souls. We don't know how much damage it will do. This is the first thing we definitely want to test. You can hold up to 8 souls, and we have some footage here. This is how the souls look when they explode. So they do like an AOE explosion when they explode, and there's a ×3 multiplier that you can get from one of the gems, from one of the pacts, Vampiric powers. So this is like the curse that it's creating. This is the Vampiric curse. And here you can see the explosion. So it's this guy, like he just casted Groundstomp. And it's this guy, like a spirit, sort of exploding in a blood explosion. This is 1.0 speed, yeah. You can tell here as well. So here this is a sorcerer. And you can see the sorcerer here has 8 stacked souls. And he's casting Frost Nova. And you see these like bone spirit looking creatures running at the enemy and then causing a blood explosion in AoE. So you see there's like up to 8 of them running to enemies and exploding everything. So that's this power, Vampiric curse mechanic. And this is just a generic mechanic, and you have certain vampiric powers that activate it. So here we have the first powers here. The first one we're going to talk about, this is alphabetical, like minor vampiric powers, 1 to 3 pacts. You can always see here, this requires only 1 pact. And it reduces the cooldown of our ultimate skills by 20% and gives us 12% increased damage for each nearby enemy that's affected by our damage over time effects. So this is mainly going to be used, I guess, for the 20% CDR, because CDR has been nerfed quite a lot, so 20% is a lot. We don't know if this 12% has a cap. Like maybe you can deal some crazy damage if you hit like 20, 30 enemies. For example, Fire Sork has like the Fire Hydra dragon that like pulls, pixels everything in the middle and does fire damage. I mean, you can like easy get like 20 guys. And if you get like 20 enemies in, you're gonna deal like 240% increased damage, which is a lot. But we don't know if it has a cap or if it goes up to infinite, basically. I think Bulwark is going to be pretty good with this. Tornado Druid, obviously, to reduce the ultimates. Maybe even Iron Maelstrom Barb. Well, and Fire Sword builds to deal damage. Maybe even some Rogue builds. But basically, I think it's going to be mainly be used for the 20% CDR on ultimates. Next one here is Domination. This one also requires 1 pact. And this is very similar to some of the aspects that we already have. 24% increased damage. I assume it's a multiplier, the way it's worded. So I actually think that all of these are multipliers. We obviously don't know for sure, but we can test. So it deals damage to stunned, immobilized, frozen enemies. And it also executes injured enemies instantly. So this could be like pretty good if it stuns. I don't think it does. It's like probably a bit too strong. But all the sword builds gonna use this. Maybe double swing barb, a couple other things. And if you go to the 4 builds, we actually have these pacts right here already. I already created like 2 builds here. with the different pacts. For example, a Whirlwind Bleed build here. I'm going to put that in the description as well. That has a lot of the powers in there already. And it's looking pretty good, actually. We're going to get quite some significant damage buffs here. So next power here is Coven's Fang. This is like 2 pet powers, basically. One of them is making our minions 52% increased damage against Cockle-Toad enemies and 30% chance to inflict a curse. This is the Vampiric curse that we talked about here that's causing these blood explosions. So yeah, there's definitely some cool stuff for pet builds. Barbarian in the end has no pets, but Conjuration Saw could be pretty sick. A Mendel Necro with this, because you're gonna get 60% chance to restore 10 resources, a 10% increased damage. You're gonna get, on lucky hit, 30% chance to inflict the curse. There's some pretty good stuff in here, basically. And we'll see how that's gonna go in the end. But yeah, pet builds could be pretty strong with like double combination here, and they're both like 1 and 2 costs. Nothing familiar to the Barbar Heart, no. We have Hectic here. This one is really strong. For every 5 basic skill that you cast, one of your active cooldowns is reduced by 2 seconds. This is insane to get cooldown reduction if you have high attack speed builds with basic skills. And there's like Frenzy Barb, Arclash Shork, Bulwark Druid, and you can see later there's a lot of other vampiric powers that give you up to double attack speed. So it can be really, really insane. But yeah, in the end, like there might be some immortal Sorg, like Arclash build attacking like 20 times a second and just pressing Flame Shield all the time and being immortal basically. Or just for Bulwark Druid for more resets, for more DPS. Frenzy Barb might be another option that we get to test on the 17th. Then we have Hemomancy, I hope I pronounced this right. It does 80% of your maximum life as physical to near enemies. It only occurs once every 4 seconds, and you heal for 1% life for each enemy that's damaged. Builds right now, I just made some rough calculations, like this is without even most Paragon boards and stuff. You can reach, like, with the 920 items now, and the Uber Uniques actually dropping, you can reach up to like 25k life even. And basically, that means you get 80% of that as damage. Which is quite a lot. It's 20,000 base damage. And normal weapon, even the new weapons, they have like 4k max. So this is a lot of damage, like 500% weapon damage every 4 seconds. Could be pretty good potentially. We don't exactly know like what multiplies this damage. We'll see, like if it gets obviously, like I think main stat is going to multiply it and stuff. But it does not scale off your weapon. So it would also be a great source of healing in big density fights. So potentially pretty good. Especially for like PvP or something, right? Where you just attack and then you just deal a bunch of damage like instantly. Could be pretty cool. We have Infection here. Hitting enemies with direct damage infects them with pox. Infecting pox 8 times. Deals 70% poison damage. So we don't know how this will scale with different like damage over time multipliers or just in general poison multipliers. Because I guess it's direct damage. It's poison damage, but direct poison damage. But it could be very good for fast hitting builds like Twisting Blade Rogue. I was even thinking on Whirlwind Barb, like you do 3 damage ticks with Whirlwind per second. Might be insane. 70% is not completely crazy. But it's definitely not to be underestimated. I don't think there's gonna be a new FX cap on these 920 items. But yeah, we'll see when it launches. Next one here is Jagged Spikes. It gives you a 10% chance for Thorns damage to deal times 4 damage and shield the enemies. I mean, it's like 30% damage on average. But still could be pretty good. Actually, it would be 40, right? It's like a times 4. So 10% chance to deal 4 times the damage, which is a lot. So yeah, it could be fun for PvP, like you just like one-shot stuff. Like somebody hits you and you proc the 10% and he's just dead instantly in PvP. It could happen on Thorns Barb. But apart from this, I don't think it's going to really be that big in PVM scenarios. But definitely some fun vampiric power to experience around with. Could be cool. Next one here is Prey of the Weak. I think this is going to be utilized by almost all builds. 16% increased damage to vulnerable enemies. Enemies are vulnerable while affected by a curse. And you get curses very easily if you combine it, for example, with this, a Cursed Touch. 44% on lucky hit to inflict a vampiric curse. Enemies with vampiric curse have 50% chance to spread it. A Cursed Souls deal triple damage. So that would be these souls here, that the sword, and in this video, it already looks like if you play it on this normal speed, it like does a lot of damage already. So I'm kind of thinking that this is probably pretty strong. And it does triple damage with this. And it curses everything. 44% chance when you lucky it. So you can combine these two. Everything is perma-cursed. Everything is perma-vulnerable. Or, I mean, you know, like if you hit it for like 1 or 2 seconds, it's going to be vulnerable and it's going to be cursed. Pretty strong synergy. I actually have this synergy in the Barb build here that I put in the description. My first Season 2 build. I'm going to make a lot more. But yeah, this is just, take this all with a grain of salt, because obviously we haven't been able to test this in the game. This is just, you know, our best guess. So the mechanic might work a bit different, but I could see it working like this, right? Pack this across all armors, yes. You stack all 5 armor pieces with pacts, and you get a total of 25 if you have a max wall everywhere. That's why I think most builds will have 3 to 4 majors and 1 or 2 minor powers. Because you can't have 5 major, it doesn't work. 5 times 6 is already 30 and you only have 25. But yeah, that's why I think like this build right now has 3 major powers. 1, 2, 3. So this is 18. And then you still have like 20, 22 right now. So you don't have to have perfect gear even. Very, very simple. Yeah, and here is all the attack speed. Ravenous and Resilience. And actually it's only Ravenous. Together with Moonrise. This is like all the attack speed that we talked about. So you have 20% chance on lucky hit to increase your attack speed by 40% of your total movement speed for 6 seconds. Most builds have 200% movement speed. That's the cap. So 40% of 200 is 80. 80% attack speed, which is a ton. Yes, imagine this on like Bone Spear Necro or something. Or even Arguel's Sword. I should add actually Bone Spear Necro. Could be insane, for sure. And then you can combine this with Moonrise. For like a Frenzy Barb or an Arguel's Sword, you get double attack speed and you get 100% basic skill damage. Pretty nuts. But yeah, we'll see how this is going to play out. I'm definitely looking forward to, I love to see these just like fast attacking builds. Or Frenzy, it could also be Double Swing. Double Swing Barb. Would also be insane with this. We'll see. Oh, we're blasting, brother. We're checking out all the stuff. Okay, so we have Resilience here. 1% damage reduction for each 2% life missing. I think this is going to be very good with low life builds, such as Bulwark, with a lot of damage reduction while injured already. So you're playing like, I don't know, like 10% of your life. So you're getting 90 divided by 2, 45% damage reduction. On top of all the damage reduction that you get when you're injured. Same for like Barrier Swords. You just go low life and you have all your barrier, basically, doing all the tanking. And you get like, I don't know, like 45% damage reduction. With just 2 pacts. Could be very useful, for sure. We don't know what's best class for Season 2 yet. Then we have the Sanguine Brace. When you kill an enemy, fortify for 6% of your base life. This is like a new source of fortify. Especially in speed farming, because you just kill so many enemies. And we might be able to drop like Warbringer on the Barb, or we might be able to drop the the Fortify aspect, because we just get, at least in speed scenarios. On single target it won't work, but on speed scenario, we're gonna get a lot of Fortify with this. So that's gonna help a ton. It's basically a very good source of Fortify. And then when you have more Fortify than half of your life, so 50% or more Fortify, you gain 8 crit. Especially on the Barb builds and also on the Druid builds, maybe even on some Necro builds, this will always be up. So 8% crit chance can be like 15% damage buff. And you also have a source of Fortify, and it only costs you 2 pack power. So this is very, very powerful, in my opinion. Then we have Undying here. Casting skills heals you for 3%, double this bonus while below 50. This is a pretty nice way of sustaining your life. It's a great source of healing. We don't know right now how it will work with channeling skills. Like if you channel Whirlwind, does every tick count as a cast skill, or do you only get the healing once at the start? Because then it's like not that good for channeling spell builds. But if it like reprocs like once a second or like once a tick even, that would be 9% life a second. It could be pretty good to sustain stuff for Whirlwind. I don't have it in mine because I simply just went offensive. But I played a Fortify and I played the Vulnerable combined with the Cursed Touch. And that's the first major power we want to talk about. It's the Cursed Touch. 44% chance to inflict Vampiric Curse on enemies. And enemies with Vampiric power have a 15% chance to spread it and take triple damage from the souls. So this is how cursed enemies look, right? You have this skulls over their head and then they are cursed. And again, you can combine this, we talked about it a bit earlier, with Prayer of the Weak. So whenever an enemy is cursed, it's also vulnerable and you do 16% more damage to it. This is going to be, I think, a very strong combination. And we should see it in this video. Yeah, right here. So here, this Barb, he's using Ground Stomp. Look, he's stunning them and then he's releasing spirits. But this spirit is going to kill this guy and it's going to proc an AoE. Boom. And they're all going to get cursed because he did lucky hit. And now they're all cursed. And when they die, you actually get the curse as a soul. And then you can release the souls like this. With a Frost Nova, which is a defensive skill. And you can clearly see, like, they are AoE explosions. Like every spirit. So this is the first spirit hitting an enemy. It automatically seeks the nearest enemy. Does an AoE explosion, like, I don't know, like 10 yards, 15 yards, something like that. It's pretty big. Then you see there's multiple explosions. So this is actually AoE damage. Looking forward to that. So I think this combination is gonna be used by almost all the builds, I would guess. We'll see. On some there might be stronger alternatives, but this is very generic. Everybody wants to make everything vulnerable all the time, and yeah, it could be good. Then we have Bathe in Blood. While channeling a skill, such as Whirlwind, you form a pool of blood beneath you. This is the pool of blood. This is Disintegrate, that's channeled, and you get this blood, and if you stand in it, you get buffs. So while you're channeling a skill in a pool, your channeling skills deal 40%. So it only works for your channeling skills. 40% damage and 30% damage reduction. A pool can only form once every 8 seconds. We do not know how long the pool lasts. Like, no idea. Maybe it lasts forever. Maybe it lasts 8 seconds. We can tell by this video that it lasts quite some time, because he's basically, maybe as long as you keep channeling, we don't know. But look, it definitely lasts longer than, like, this is like, what, 4 seconds? Something like that. And it doesn't seem to run out, so. I think it's fair to assume that you're gonna have this pool pretty permanently. So maybe it lasts 8 seconds and then has an 8-second cooldown and then you reproc it, right? Maybe you can even have multiple pools active. Who knows, maybe pools from allies stack. Maybe it stacks, like, who knows. But I could see this being very good against, like, bosses and stuff. Like, you use Whirlwind Barb, you spin around, you get the pool, and you just stay in the pool and spin on the boss, basically. And you get 1.4 multiplier and 30% damage reduction. Maybe it also snapshots. That means you stand in the pool, you start spinning, and then you leave the pool, and you still have the damage buff. Maybe. Maybe it snapshots. We'll have to test. If it does, it's going to be also very good for speed farming. And yeah, even non-channeling builds can probably get a 30% damage reduction. Like you just, I don't know, let's say you're playing double swing barb, you're just going to take whirlwind on your bar, proc the pool, and then you just stand in there, double swing, and you get 30% damage reduction. Maybe with Rowan you can make a river. Maybe it also stays on you, right? It's not clear by this video. I mean, it's around the character. Maybe it's on the ground, or maybe it moves with you. I guess it's on the ground though. But there's a small chance it moves with you, right? You form it beneath you. Yeah, it could mean both things, right? It's beneath you, so it always moves with you, or just beneath you, where you just stand. Maybe. I mean, if it moves with us, holy. I didn't even think of that. Maybe it will work. Maybe it moves with us. But yeah, we don't know. Yeah, then we have the Blood Boils. So we don't know how Overpower is gonna work. They said they're gonna rework it. So we have to wait until the 10th. Today, as of recording this, it's the 6th. So we still have a couple days to go until Tuesday the 10th. And then we will learn. But basically, core skills overpower an enemy. I mean, core skill is great because most builds use core skills. You spawn 3 volatile blood drops. We don't know exactly what this even is. Like, what is a volatile blood? How does it look? What does it do? It's probably just like a health globe or like the fortify globes on the Necro. Collecting a blood drop causes it to explode, dealing 60% physical damage around you. Could be decent. I mean, if we can like spawn them a lot, like with some guaranteed overpowers, and depending on how overpower works, every 20 seconds your next skill guaranteed to overpower, would be pretty nice, but it's a major power, so right now, I mean, with how overpower works right now, this one is like not useful. But we'll see what overpower will do soon. And then we have Core Familiar. This is like casting a mastery, weapon mastery, Macabre Wrath, or imbuement skill. Calls a bat to attack near enemies, dealing 80% physical damage, 30% chance to stun. I think we also have a bat. At the event. And that's Moonrise. Okay, here comes the bat. This is the bat, basically attacking and stunning the enemy. So, on surface it looks a bit weak, but it could be used to stagger bosses easy, because if you can keep, there's no ICD, I would guess. If it doesn't have any cooldown, you just like, because some of those you can spam. If you look at, I think it's Sorcerer, like mastery skills on a Sorcerer. Let's just go there real quick. So we just go on Sorcerer. And we look at mastery skills. Like mastery skills is like firewall and stuff, right? So this is mastery. You see here, firewall mastery, ball lightning mastery. Like you can spam these skills. On Barb, weapon mastery has a cooldown. It's like death blow and a rupture. So you can't really like spam them. But on Sorg, for example, you can spam this in an AoE. And if it procs, like let's say you attack 10 monsters, does it proc 10 bats? If yes, it could be good. If it only procs 1, then it's not really useful on AoE scenario. And yeah, if it has no cooldown, it could be good. And gonna add stagger to the boss fast. Stagger bar is very useful. Next one here is the Flowing Veins. 60% increased damage over time to enemies that are moving. So they need to be walking around or affected by a Vampiric curse. So this is going to be very good for speed farming for dot builds like Bleed Barb. I'm looking into doing a Whirlwind Bleed Barb again, or Burning Sword, Poison, Twisting Blade Rogue, stuff like that. So it's going to be 1.6 multiplier, I would assume. But yeah, it could be combined, because it won't work on bosses. Like most bosses, like Lilith, like they are standing still, right? And this only works against moving targets. But it also works against targets affected by a curse. So you can combine this like I did here. Flowing Veins, you just combine with a Curse Touch and Prayer of the Weak. So this is like a very nice combination, and I like that you know, you can kind of combine these vampiric powers to make a powerful build. So we're gonna get quite some good overlap here, because we have a 44% chance to inflict the curse on lucky hit, and when it's cursed, they are vulnerable, and they're also taking 60% damage over time, even if they are standing still. So it could be really good against bosses like that as well. Just curse the boss, and the way I understand it, the Vampiric curse just lasts forever. Like, there's no duration. I don't know if it's true, but like, it sounds to me, it lasts forever. Like, there's no duration, basically. And that also means that the boss is vulnerable all the time, and it also takes 1.6 multiplicative damage all the time from Flowing Veins. So this could be really strong potentially. Then we have the Metamorphosis, major power. When you evade, so the space bar, like your just evade button, you turn into a cloud of bats, becoming unstoppable. Enemies along your path take 160, which is quite a lot, physical damage, and are inflicted with curses. I think we have a video of this. It's this. You see these bats here? This is like this is your new dash. So here you press dash, and then it just transforms you into these bats, and you see it applies the curse. This is the curse mark, and then it reforms here. I'm not really sure if it slightly increases the range. Maybe not. But it looks pretty smooth when you play the video in full speed. Is it full speed? No, it's 0.5. Wait. Let's play this in full speed. So yeah, it looks pretty smooth. And then you can also see here when he kills them. Jesus, now we need to like look slow again. Like, once he kills the enemies, like the curses or their souls are returning to you, giving you the stacks up to 8, right? Like, you see, these curses are moving when the enemy is dead. No, you got that wrong. It doesn't last 8 seconds. You can have a maximum of 8 souls. I think that's where you get the 8 from, this one here. You only can hold 8 of them. So you need to release them by pressing your defensive skill before. I hope that's understandable. But yeah, this is how it looks. So you basically, instead of your evade, you move with bats, and they make you unstoppable, and then they apply curses, and they deal damage. 160% weapon damage is a lot if you can scale it with multipliers. It could be completely insane for Sorcerer using Teleport and Oculus and basically evading permanently, right? If it works. Like, what comes first? Like, you teleport or you like have bats? Could be insane. Get +3 evade boots, and also the perma unstoppable could be great against the bosses, and it also gives you buffs, right? Like, you can, for example, use the Ghost Walker aspect, and every time you evade for 4 seconds and 4 seconds after, so right? So this is 8 seconds. It's basically perma movement speed. You get unstoppable for 4 seconds, and 4 seconds later you still get movement speed. So yeah, pretty good synergy. Then we have Moonrise. This is the last of the powers. Hitting an enemy with a basic skill grants you 4% attack speed for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So 5 times 4 is 20% attack speed for 10 seconds. Upon reaching maximum stacks, you enter a Vampiric Blood Rage, gaining 160% basic skill damage, 15% movement speed for 10 seconds. It also has no cooldown, like, you just keep getting to the stacks and you like keep getting the rage. So this is like, it's gonna be basically pretty permanent, I think. So could be insane for Frenzy Barb combined with various attack speed multipliers such as Ravenous. It's gonna give you a double attack speed, these two combined. And it's gonna give you 160%. I hope it's gonna be a multiplier, because basic skills need some extra damage. Like, Frenzy Barb is on the weak side right now. But if we get 160% multiplicative damage, it's pretty good. But if it's just additive, you know, to the damage that you already have, like on a weapon, right? You can have, what is it, like basic skill damage here, and it's like a lot. Like, you can have like, we get this like to 5. You can already have like 118% basic skill damage. So if it's just additive to that, it's pretty bad. But if it's a multiplier, it could be pretty nice. So yeah, there's definitely some cool synergies that you can do. So I have like the one I mentioned here. I'm gonna make a lot more in the upcoming days, guys. I just wanted to make a quick overview. So we have the barb here, and what we do on the barb, I'm gonna go into details in a separate video, but just real quick, we're gonna get 1.6 multiplier from our bleed. We're playing Whirlwind Bleed. We're gonna get the curse from this, and then we're gonna get another 1.16, make everything perma cursed and perma vulnerable. And then we combine this with channeling spells, 1.4 multiplier, and the fortify, which is 8 crit, which is another like probably like 1.15 multiplier, depending on how much crit chance you have. And when we combine this, I did some basic math up here. Again, the sheet is in the description. So we go from 920 to 820 weapon power. So this means we get about 1.45 multiplier. We get 1.4 from channeling, 1.6 from the dots, 1.16 from vulnerable, and 1.15 from the 8 crit chance. And then the curse damage here, it's pretty hard to say. It looks in these videos that the explosion from the curse is doing a lot. Like here, for example, in this video, like this, all these explosions, it's probably more than 25%. It's probably like more, maybe it's even double, I don't know. At least in AoE scenarios. But let's say like we are about 5 times stronger than we are in non-season, right? And that's without like the reworks they will do to overpower and the reworks that they are doing for the uniques that they're going to show us on the 10th probably. They said they almost reworked every unique, so probably some of the uniques are going to be pretty useful. And we're also going to get Uber uniques now. And the Uber uniques always going to get like the max roll. So we're going to get 920 4K weapon, Grandfather, we're going to get a Shaco. Once we target farm Uber Duriel, it's gonna be an exciting season, that's for sure. And I think we're gonna be pretty powerful, as it looks like. 5 times more damage than non-season. I still don't think we're gonna quite match the Barber power. Barber is just such an insane mechanic with the current hearts. Like the hearts will be gone, so no more Barber. But still, there is a lot of stuff we're gonna get here, and we'll see what we're gonna get more on the 10th with the reworks for the uniques and stuff. But yeah, hopefully this overview here was useful. And I'm gonna go into a lot more detail on the 10th, and obviously when the thing launches, we're gonna test it all. Take care, my friends. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.